guess it'll be a year. And coming back to Camrose, we didn't quite get to finish our mission, which we were also excited about. I remember the day we flew in on the helicopter because we were so excited to play, and we were able to land and prepare ourselves, and the whole band was excited.
Camrose was one of those moments that you hope you don't have ever again. You know, a huge stage, 60 people on it.
We had been on stage watching the band ahead of us.
Normally when the band that's playing before me, or us, is on stage, I'll listen to a couple songs and then I go back and start getting my head ready to play. And that, I really liked the band that was playing, and I especially like the drummer. I thought, well, I'm gonna just stay out here.
It's a festival, so it's a quick turnaround, you know, so we're out there setting up our guitars, setting up our amps.
I'm used to like storms coming in fast in the monsoon season in Arizona.
And we could see that there was some wind and a storm was going to come, and that happens in life and on festivals, and you know, maybe it rains for a while.
You can see that the weather was worsening in the distance. It wasn't there with us yet, but the sky, the color, the light, everything was a bit strange.
I remember being back behind the stage, and something was different.
I haven't been in a tornado before or a microburst, so I didn't really sense that coming.
The sky was turning a different kind of color. It was almost kind of a yellow-green.
All of a sudden the wind starts to pick up.
And the wind became kind of this animal, a quiet animal for a while, but it just let everybody know it was happening.
Let's cover everything up, you know, so it doesn't get wet.
And I kept looking up at the big tarps, and they started to move. And it was like a big engine just kind of starting to coke up.
Park and I were struggling to put an amp cover over one of my amps.
I remembered seeing my friends, and they are my friends, they're my brothers, and the wind started to move things.
Cases started to move across the stage by themselves.
And me and Larry were holding a drum riser.
Buster and I went over and tried to keep it from rolling off the back of the stage, and we're standing like 33 degrees holding this thing, and we're just like...
I was trying to put a cover on my bass cabinet.
And my friends, being musicians, they wouldn't leave their equipment.
And it was just kind of getting crazier and crazier.
Suddenly there was a moment in time when I knew something was awful. Something was terribly wrong.
Buster was down a little lower, and I remember looking down at him, and he's going like, I don't think we're gonna save this.
And I saw that they weren't gonna give up their amps, and I ran back onto the stage.
And I remember somebody touching my shoulder and going, you know, forget about it. We gotta go.
And right then I saw out of the corner of my eye one of the main supports starting to buckle.
And just as, and I really think it was Devin who said, yelling, get off the stage.
So I go, run, run.
And everybody scattered different directions.
It was too late, even at that moment, it was too late. And it all began to happen, and guys ran to the left, ran to the right, I ran down the back.
There was semi-trucks parked behind us, and one of them was empty and open, the trailer park, and it had a ramp going right up to the loading dock. So I start hauling ass into the empty trailer.
I heard this tremendous noise. At the time I didn't know the stage was coming down. It sounded like the earth was just ripping apart.
And I looked up, and all I could see was the wall coming down on me, and it felt like a bad Godzilla movie. I put my hands up and went.
6 to 10 seconds, the whole stage collapsed.
I ran off the back of the stage as the stage was falling like this.
And I ran under the stage because I thought it was a tornado, because just after we started running, it just went crazy. And there was a big cement block, and I thought, well, maybe I'll be safe here.
I fell between the cracks. I think God took care of me. The steel girders missed me. I was pinned under it. The netting pinned me like a fish.
I remember like praying, don't let anything fall on us, you know. Something came, some big piece of steel, a truss member came stabbing through the top of the trailer, and it was like from me to you.
My best friend Tim was in the bus, and he actually turned and I think saw me running on the stage.
And I saw Kevin and Mark running across the stage, and Mark was kind of covering Kevin.
It was good that he actually saw that instead of running to the front of the bus.
Just in 1 second, the whole bus got crushed. And where I was sitting, it missed me by about 4 feet.
And a piece of steel came through our bus window that would have impaled him, came through about 9 or 10 feet.
And then I heard the stage collapsing, and I realized, oh, well, I could be crushed with everything. So I just ran as fast as I could.
The stage was gone. And that's when my heart was broken. Because I knew people were hurt, and I knew it was really bad.
And I really simply couldn't move. I had to actually back out from underneath the netting.
And I just got up and ran to the bus like as fast as I could.
And when I turned over, the only thing that was, I reached the end of the ramp and I turned over so my head was suddenly looking 5 feet down. And there was my friend Mark Botting lying in a pool of blood.
I didn't really know at that point who had been hurt, and especially Mark Botting, I didn't know.
And then I'd heard that Botting, our amazing tour manager, was, a lot of the people didn't think he was going to make it.
And I thought we're going to lose him, and I took my shirt off, I covered his head, held him, and I saw his radio and I began to radio for help.
Then I heard over the radio Kevin saying, "This is Kevin Costner. I need a paramedic to the back of the stage."
And I responded back and just said, "Hey Kevin, it's Devin. Where are you?" And he said, "Behind the buses."
Kevin has got Mark Botting in his arms, and the blood is just pouring out of his head.
At that moment, I didn't know if Mark would make it. I honestly didn't. Just being unconscious and all that blood was really scary.
I crawl out, and Park is wandering around with, he looked like he'd been in a war. There was blood on his face, and he had that look of like, what the fuck?
Blair, my guardian angel, came and grabbed me by the arm.
And all of a sudden, emerging out of the dust and the rain came, Blair was leading Park, saying, "Park's hurt, Park's hurt."
And it turns out Park Chisholm was hurt very, very badly.
The next thing I remember is being on the bus, and Park is sitting on the sofa there, and John has a towel, kind of getting rid of blood that was coming down off of his head onto his face.
It was pretty amazing because that was Kevin that had come and tapped me on the shoulder. And so, whether he wants to say it or not, I feel kind of like he's saved my life there. I mean, but that was, that's happened a couple times, I'm sure, in everybody's life, that I thought, wow, this is it. This is how it ends.
I had dreams about it for a long time, and every now and then I'll hear a certain sound on stage that actually makes me kind of jump because it's just a sound that's ingrained in my head.
It's hard to talk about because, it's not something you want to relive all the time.
It was one of the scariest things I've ever been through. And it happened so fast.
Anytime I walk into, a festival stage where it's a temporary structure, you just get an eerie feeling,
Luckily, all of us made it. Unfortunately, one person didn't make it, and many people were hurt. But it was terrifying.
And obviously there was one fatality that we're all very, very sorry to hear that happened. And what can you say about that? We just count our blessings that we're still here, and prayers go out to her and her family and everybody that knew her.
Such a tragedy that one life was lost, and that will be in all our hearts when we go back.
We lost Donna Moore, and Donna, somebody's mother, somebody's sister. It's not to be replaced, and so we think of her right now. We thought of her afterwards. You know, the blessing was more weren't hurt or lost, I guess. The tragedy is that we lost her. And so we come back as a band to celebrate our own lives and to celebrate the chance to play music in front of a lot of people, and also to kind of have a collective memory together when we all get together. So Modern West, of all the dates we played this year, are looking forward to coming back to Camrose.